Hello ladies and gents, and not forgetting you bloody peasants. Welcome back to the shitstorm of a game, another War Thunder video. Today we looking at the A-34 Comet Mark 1 and the Hawker Typhoon Mark 1B late. Both of these vehicles are of the battle rating of 5.3 and 4.3 respectively. Firstly, the Comet. The thing is basically having a QF-17 pounder gun welded onto a turret and a square box. It cannot be more square than the British Army. It's great on the speed at 40 km/h on flat ground and the mobility is rather good. But its lackluster armor is what kills me the most out of everything. 60mm of front armor. It is enough to set off most APBC shells used by the Germans and the Russians. And if it isn't that, it's the horrible reverse speed at a grand 3 km/h. Mean that if you muck up your shot, or a Tiger tank side scrapes around the corner, you would have wished to been in the Churchill Mark 7. Seriously, I'm not fucking joking. It rarely bounces shots, so you better pray that you have enough spawn points for another vehicle. Also, the ammunition rounds that are the default rounds and the others that you unlock are a massive problem on this tank. Until you got the Lord and Savior of rounds APDS, armor piercing discarding sabot. Yes, I know sabot in French for wooden shoe and sabotage. Fuck it, I won't go there. It is the first vehicle to get it. At its battle rating, it will destroy anything at its battle rating, including the Pussy Panther and the Tiger tanks very easily. If you get off the first shot, they wish that they haven't been born and send themselves back to the hangar. This tank does well at medium range in hull down positions. It also does well with flanking and engaging from the side or the rear. This tank can do close quarters battling if you can get around them. If it is a single vehicle, but if it is more than one, attack the rear so the others don't see, and pray to the Lord Savior Shell Jesus, then work on the rest. If you do it any other way, you would have wished to have had stayed in the hangar or even used the Churchill Mark 7 and its great armor and its tiny lackluster 75mm gun. In summing up, you flank attack from rear or hull down at medium range, and engage the enemy. Once you get the APDS rounds, this will make it easier. My recommendation for things to get first is parts, FPE, tracks, shot Mark 4, horizontal turret drive, shot Mark 8, adjustment of fire, APDS, elevation mechanism, recruiting the territorials, and getting artillery support. Then go for your mobility upgrades. Summing up, this is a good tank on the way to the Centurion tanks. It teaches you what to do for later tanks, and for doing mobile warfare. This will not always get you the results that you want. Sometimes, your results will be mediocre at the best of times. It generally gets you alright games. A word of warning. If you don't do so well in this tank, do not worry, it will always happen. Another warning: if you don't do well, the repair cost can be touchy. Also, adding the cost of firing APDS do not always go well. Do not heavily rely on the Comet for a search points and silver lions. Also, T-44s can be a massive pain. Always aim for the turret. Do not go for the upper and lower glasses, or simply don't go for the hull. You cannot always get a shot in. Otherwise, this makes a good tank for its battle rating. Now for the Typhoon Mark 1B late. Introduced in 1942, it was to replace the Hawker Hurricane, but failed to do that. When it was introduced, it had a nasty habit of a line aircraft shooting it down. After improvements were made to the aircraft, they tried it again as a fighter and still didn't do well. Once improvements were made again, it was turned into fighter bomber and ground attacker. This is where it thrives, with 4 20mm Hispano Mark II cannons. It ruins day of open-top tank destroyers, self-propelled guns, self-propelled anti-air, and then particularly light tanks. The Typhoon can carry 250 pounds of bombs, 500 pounds of bombs, 2. 1000 pounds of bombs or 860 pounds of rockets. It will blow up anything that you hit, but if you are practically good at bombing, this aircraft can be a wonder weapon. Personally, I consider this aircraft to be a great ground pounder, but cannot defend itself to defend Mr. Churchill, considering the Germans and the Russians are very tired of the close air support spam. They will come for you first before the freedom fighters of the USA, if you are lucky, and get on their ass. Make a quick decision to either roast him, which I would do, or get the hell out of there, cause other fighters will be on your ass quicker than the German Blitzkrieg of 1940. I personally use this aircraft as a quick hit and run aircraft going very low and fast to avoid enemy aircraft. It makes this a great aircraft, but don't trust it to get you out of problems. The Firefly is almost the same in every way, except you can carry 60 pounds of rockets, which makes it a slightly better close air support aircraft, but has the same drawbacks as the Typhoon. Now, what modifications do you go for? Simple. Start with fuselage repair, radiator, 20mm offensive belts, new 20mm cannons, then the 3 bomb modifications and rockets, then the Mark II year 1942 modifications and the Mark II year 1943 mod, then do the rest of the flight performance upgrades and the survivability overall. Just watch for the close air support of the enemy. If you don't, you would have wished to have been in the hangar. Otherwise, it is a good aircraft. I hope that you enjoy this video. Also, the rockets for the Hawker Typhoon are going to be nerfed in the upcoming patch 1.71.